This video is brought to you by BossRootin.com and PowerPerformanceProducts.com, where you can receive $10 off your purchase of Body Storm and Body Effects.
Hey, we're the Tattoo Palace Ring Girls. Check out ProBoxingSupplies.com for all of your MMA needs.
The card is stacked with great heavyweight fights. I love this main event with Alistar and Junior Dos Santos. Junior Dos Santos has been knocking everybody out except Roy, and Alistar looks so good in that fight against Brock Lesnar. So, interesting fight.
Who do you pick?
The question is, which none of you guys asked, for me the question is, how is Dos Santos going to deal with the kicks and the knees and the elbows? And since he's been in the UFC, I've never seen him have to deal with that. The stuff that he's going to have to deal with from Alistar Overeem. You know, he's fought a pretty one-dimensional fight. He's fought very Chuck Liddell-like in that he's great at defending the takedown and has, you know, he drops bombs, throws heavy punches, but he's never dealt with anybody who's going to throw kicks and knees and work in the clinch the way that Alistar Overeem does. And I'm real curious to see how Junior Dos Santos is planning on dealing with that.
Roy seemed to kind of sidestep the question about the 205
Yeah, I don't know how that guy makes 205. You know, he has enough trouble getting down to 250, you know. I would be shocked. Or maybe he just shaves and he gets down to 205. I don't know, but I don't know how he's going to do it.
Well, you've tried to encourage him to go there in the past, right?
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. I've encouraged him to shave his face and cut his hair too, but he doesn't want to listen to that either, so whatever.
Does that mean the relationship's kind of...
No, I'm cool with him. Yeah, I like him. Hey, listen, he's a tough guy with a ton of heart. He goes in there and gives it his everything. My thing is, I've always said to him, I'd love to see you take this thing serious and really rip off some weight and try to fight. I mean, when you got a chin like that and a heart like that, I mean, you can't deny the guy's got a great chin, a ton of heart, and he can knock people out too. I mean, if he really could get to 205, he'd be a force at 205. He'd be a scary dude. He's got great wrestling, awesome submissions, great chin, a ton of heart, and has knockout power. I mean, who knows what Roy Nelson could really achieve if he applied himself.
What made you change your mind and thinking that you couldn't make 205 now? There's no disrespect to Roy, but
I just, you know, you got to want to do it. You got to want to get in there, take it serious, you know, seriously diet, seriously train, and then you're going to have to cut some weight the day of the fight. You know, for a guy who's gone his whole life, is big. I mean, as long as I've known Roy Nelson, as long as he's been in this business, he's been big, you know? And you don't just, it's not like when you get these guys that fight at 185 and they wrestled their entire, you know, high school and maybe college careers, and they're used to cutting weight. They know what it takes, they know how hard it is, and they can do it. So that when they make that decision, you know what, I'm going to try to get down to 70, you know, they make it happen. I don't think that's going to be easy for a guy who's been big his whole life like he has.
Has there been any talk about any of these guys being the potential guy to go over to Strikeforce? The timing is obviously right.
Nobody's going to Strikeforce. The heavyweight division's gone.
No, I thought you said there's one more fight though after the.
Right. Yeah, you know, after the end of the tournament, whoever wins, they got one more fight. I don't know. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out when it happens.
Timing's obviously right for somebody on this card too.
Yeah, and I could see if there was somebody who was possibly. I don't know. We'll see. I can't even think about that yet. You know, we got to get that tournament done first. Then we can.
Would it be somebody from the UFC? Because you said UFC fighters would it be a free agent?
Who knows? We could bring somebody else in. You know, there's probably another heavyweight. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
Speaking of heavyweights, Fedor Emelianenko, the name that never goes away, started making some rumblings about the UFC. Is that a guy that's on your radar anymore?
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. That was a guy who was made an incredible offer, and they laughed at it. They ain't laughing now.
Moving on to June 8th, has there been any, you know, I've heard some rumors about Anaheim. Obviously, it's a voting going on with the Harley-Davidson thing.
Yeah. What did you ask me? Was Anaheim
Yeah, is Anaheim something that's a good possibility for that?
I don't think so. I think I know what that is already, but...
Do you know when those plans are supposed to be finalized? Because I don't think on the website there's a date that says when it ends or anything, right?
On when we pick that, yeah, I think it's done. It just hasn't been announced yet. I'm almost positive.
Is there a chance it's going to be overseas, or I mean, it's just?
It'd be in the United States. Yeah, be in the United States, and it'll be in a place that we haven't been in a long time.
Curious, if you saw the hockey fight in Madison Square Garden I guess it was about a week or so ago. Three simultaneous fights at the face-off.
Yeah, I heard about that when I was up in Canada.
Right.
I didn't see it, but I heard about it. Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Obviously, it was at Madison Square Garden where you guys were trying to get in.
Yeah. I mean, as far as what?
Obviously, you know,
fighting and hockey, or
and there they are throwing down with 3 simultaneous fights on the ice, bare fist sticks and bare fists,
unsanctioned.
Blades
Yeah. It is what it is. You know, you guys know what this whole New York thing it is. It's a dirty culinary union. People who run the culinary union. So, whatever. It is what it is. Not being in New York isn't affecting us. It'll get done, and we'll be in New York eventually.
For the Ian McCall fight and Demetrius there, it looked like it was going to be June 1st. And would that have been a main event? And was that a reason why it was moved? Because it's not fair for those guys maybe to fight a 5-round fight in a rematch.
They won't. They would never fight a 5-round fight. It's not going to happen. It's a 3-round, because if they fought a 5-round fight and it was a draw, they'd have to go to a 6th round. It's a 3-round fight. If it goes to a draw,
was that a reason why
it goes to a draw and they add it up as a draw, it will go to a 4th round.
Was that a reason why it got moved, maybe?
No, that wasn't why, but it is a main event. It's going to main event on a different card.
It is going to be the main event?
It will be a main event, yes. Did we announce it yet?
Yeah, it's announced.
We just didn't know if there was another fight coming.
Yeah, no, it's the main event. Yeah, it's the main event. Yeah, those guys deserve to be the main event, especially the way that everything went down, and as great as that fight was. And it'll be a 3-round fight, because if it goes to a draw, it'll be a 4-round fight. Can't have them do 5 and then go 6.
Plus, it's not fair for a guy to fight another extra few rounds, it seems like, when Joey's just kind of relaxing, when they're already having to fight again.
Well, that is what it is. I mean, you know, it's not fair for these guys to have to fight again when it should have been added up the right way the first time, but it is what it is.
You took that very well.
I mean, what can you do? What am I going to do? And the commission down there, you know, they took full responsibility. They apologized. You know, what are you going to do? Mistakes happen, man.
Dana, with Brazil being announced, now you've got back-to-back fight cards. Have you looked at your schedule yet to figure out if it's physically possible?
It's actually been really nice that I've been able to have a little bit of time off here. I've just been doing the Ultimate Fighter and catching up on some work. But yeah, I'm ready, man. My schedule gets crazy now. Now it gets real. I'm going to be. I shoot the Ultimate Fighter on a Friday. When it's done filming, I fly to Sweden. I'll land when the first fight starts. I'll do the Sweden show. I'll turn right back around and fly back to Las Vegas. I go to Atlanta, right? I'm going to Atlanta. I will do the fight. I'll get to Atlanta the day of the fight. I'll do the fight there and then jump right on the plane and fly to Brazil. We'll go to Brazil, and I'm flying and landing, doing the press conference, getting back on the plane and flying back to Las Vegas to do the Ultimate Fighter, and then that's the way it's going to be for me for the rest of the year.
Are you going to be able to be in Rio on one night, Atlantic City the next?
Trying to figure that one out.
Yeah.
Planes are great. It's getting to the point where I'm going to need a teleporter.
Chael actually came out, even with the announcement, Chael's still saying, I haven't signed for that fight yet.
Isn't he nuts?
Yeah.
He's nuts, man. I mean, I don't even... Like I told you guys, I don't know if you remember when they were saying, Chael said this and Chael said that. I said, I have to hold press conferences just to squash all the shit that Chael said. The fight is happening. He has accepted the fight. And he will be with me in Brazil for the press conference down there.
You must be pretty happy with the 8 million viewers in Brazil for the Ultimate Fighter.
That was actually 12.
Was it 12?
Yeah. I'm happy. The problem is down in Brazil is for some reason, I don't know what the deal is, but networks won't give out the ratings. They won't tell you what the ratings were. So we know, but most of the other people have to figure it out, or I don't know how it works down there, but it's weird. And then I don't know if you guys saw where another channel, the channel that we were talking to, then went out and said, these are the finalists in the Ultimate Fighter, and like tried to sabotage the whole show. But the crazy thing is, you know, if you went out and you did that, you think you're hurting the UFC? Do you think you're hurting Globo? Globo's the top network in the country. You're hurting the kids that are you know, the contestants of the show. That's who you're hurting, the guys that are in the competition. So it's really weird the way things work down there. So, I mean, that's some dirty Josh Gross dirty type shit. You know what I mean?
Did Fox want to air the Brazil Ultimate Fighter, and if so, why did you guys go with Fox to air it in the States?
Did Fox what?
Did Fox want to air the Ultimate Fighter Brazil?
They will.
They will.
Yeah, they will. It's going to air this summer on Fuel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Before the finals, or?
I don't remember the date, but it's going to air on Fuel. Yeah. We put it up on UFC.com so people can see it real time, and then the thing's going to air.
How much delay?
I don't remember. Well, it's going to be a while. I mean, it's not for a couple more months, I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Find out the real date. Somebody around here knows the real date it'll air.
Have you guys finalized the stadium layout for Rio de Janeiro? Because obviously I know you mentioned that it'd be 80,000 seats, and a lot of people are looking at the building and saying it can't hold that many. So do you know how many you're hoping to get?
So what do people think it will hold?
I guess estimates are high 50s, low 60s.
Yeah. We're working on it right now. We're still, you know, we have to do the lighting rig inside one of those places. Did anybody see the last U2 concert?
Yeah, where they had the big...
We tried to rent that claw, whatever that thing is, that claw thing. Yeah, we tried to rent that thing from them, and we couldn't get it because we couldn't get it down there. So we're building our own version of that thing. So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that's going to go into this show. I mean, you guys saw what we did in Canada when we did the Toronto show. I told you guys that we wouldn't lose any energy or any of the feel of our in-house live event when we did a stadium, and we pulled it off, and we'll pull it off down there too. But your question, to answer your question, we're still scaling this thing. So, pardon me. It'll be between 60 and 80,000 people. Okay, it'll beat Toronto. We'll beat Toronto.
Well, I guess it'll be covered. I mean, you have to.
No, it won't be covered.
No.
The octagon in the fighting area will be covered. You know, but the rest will not. So this is a somewhat risky event for us, but we're doing it during their dry time down there. But who knows, man? You know, I mean, the weather is so crazy, especially these days. The weather's so nutty. You never know what's going to happen. You know, last year on the East Coast, it rained the entire summer. When we were just down in Australia, their entire summer it rained. So imagine if we said, hey, Australia is the perfect place to do an outdoor show, and you know, it rained the entire summer. So you never know. I hate doing outdoor shows, but this one makes sense. I mean, we got it. We got to do it. We got to do it. This fight's going to be huge. I said it before, and I'll say it. I think this is one of the biggest sporting events of the year. You know, if you take NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, Formula One, soccer, everything, this is one of the biggest sporting events of the year.
I know you're St. Louis. Do you foresee a show ever getting into the Midwest again like there?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was just talking about St. Louis the other day. Yes, we need to get to St. Louis. We haven't been there yet, and yes, the answer is yes.
This year?
I don't know about this year, but possibly, because we're still working on our schedule. It's weird, man. Normally this time in the year, we have the entire year laid out. You know, we don't now. We have so many fights and so many moving parts and pieces. When I was telling you guys how hard the next 2 years is for us, because with this Fox deal, and we're still trying to figure this whole thing out. The Ultimate Fighter Live, you know, our first live episode, all those fights being live, you know, we had to work out some kinks. Now that show is dialed in perfectly right where we want it. We got UFC Ultimate Fighter Brazil done. We're working on all the other countries right now, getting them done for the Ultimate Fighter, dialing in all this programming for all the Fox networks, and you know, there's so much work to do. We don't have all the dates, and they're still changing and moving. You know, normally when we'd lay out a schedule, that was the schedule. This year we yanked Montreal. We were going to go over here. Now we're not going there. We're going over here. I mean, it's been crazy.
Godspeed and party on.